It's gonna be the shortest episode yet.
That's going to be the absolute shortest Drunkview ever.
Alright, now for a movie we can actually talk about.
Oh my lord. You can't help it, there hasn't been a single video you haven't made that from.
It's tradition, bro. It's tradition. Tradition makes it good. Tradition. Wait, what is this movie called?
Hostel.
Okay. I keep wanting to call it The Foreigner because it's about a white man. A white man in Indian territory.
No, he's actually in white man territory till like the last 5 minutes.
It was all originally Indian territory.
That's true.
That's true. And before that, it was nature's territory.
Damn.
God's territory.
The dinosaurs territory.
Earlier tonight, we saw Hostels. Connor, what is the plot of Hostels?
Hostels stars Christian Bale as he leads a team of soldiers to basically protect this group of former prisoner Native Americans, but mostly, to get back to their sacred lands in Montana. And basically the underlying theme is that both Christian Bale's team and the Native American team have both done their own terrible acts, but they learn to live in unison. They also meet up along the way with a lady who had her whole family get murdered, and I don't really know what she learns, but she comes along for the whole movie. And basically they fight some Indians along the way, they get this fugitive on the way, and it's basically just a Western movie as they travel across the country to get to Montana. So Aiden, what did you think of Hostel?
Well, we gotta address the elephant in the room. This movie is a lot like Dances with Wolves. And I normally wouldn't say that, but they also both star Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is in Dances with Wolves?
He's in that too, yes.
No, he's not.
He is. Yeah, he fucking is.
Oh, he's Kevin Costner.
Alright, let's start that over.
A big elephant in the room.
I don't know.
Where did you come up with that fan theory? Where did you even come up with theory? Christian Bale would have been like 17.
Kind of doesn't look anything like. You know,
when did Dances with Wolves come out? 97.
You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the last. I was also going to mention the Last Samurai. But anyway, we got to address the elephant in the room, and that this movie is just a lot. It's very similar to Dances with Wolves. It's a little more violent, but it touches on the same themes. It goes in a little bit of a different way. In Dances with Wolves, he hangs out with an Indian tribe and realizes that they're pretty much just normal people like us, nice and peaceful. In this movie, Christian Bale hangs out with the Indians and realizes that everybody's a piece of shit.
Well, I think Dances with Wolves, he kind of wants to be part of the tribe more. He respects them. I think Christian Bale just kind of respects him. Kevin Costner fetishizes him. Wants to fuck a bunch of Indian bitches. I don't know.
Anyway,
it's getting cut.
The movie is pretty good. It's well shot. There's not a lot of action, but the action's good when it does happen. They execute their theme well, where at first Christian Bale and who plays Joe and Rosamund Pike, whose character name I don't remember, are both pretty distrustful of Yellow Hawk and Black Hawk and all the Indians they're escorting. But they kind of learn to work with them. They realize that, everybody's got some blood on their hands, and that sometimes you just gotta trust people, and that people can come together through the bad shit that they've all done. And it does that well. All the acting is pretty good. Like I said, the action is pretty sparing. There's really only like 3 action scenes. but they're all pretty well done. The story is whatever. It's Dances with Wolves, Violence Edition. It's an interesting take on westerns because normally in westerns, this is a western. Lots of gunfights and cowboys and Indians, but you see it from a different perspective where usually it's about a cowboy on his own doing stuff. This is like a soldier in the cowboy period, and I think that's an interesting angle to take because that's not one you see very often. And besides the final boss fight, I think everything in the movie flows pretty nicely. It didn't feel long. There's lots of scenes where they're just kind of like walking through the forest and talking and stuff, and it's all nice. They got out and they took some real horses out to these real locations and all looked super good. The big blemish on the movie is the final boss fight where they get Yellowhawk back to his native lands and he dies there, which is what his goal was. And then they bury him and it's nice and sad, and it could have ended there, and then this rancher and his goons, I don't know what to call them besides like super villain goons, roll up and they're like,
I think they're called as ranch hands that for some reason are willing to just like
they're like
get killed.
They're like, get off, take your dead red skin and get off our land. And Christian Bale's like, no, he's gonna be buried here. I have the president's orders. And the cowboy's like, I don't give a damn about the president's orders. I'm gonna kill me some redskins. Yeehaw! And starts shooting his guns in the air like a fucking cartoon character.
Yeah. Doesn't try to get the sheriff or anything. They just get in a gunfight while they're outnumbered.
Yeah,
the boss.
The gunfight itself is pretty cool, but like it comes out of literally nowhere. The villain is like cartoonishly over the top, racist hick cowboy man. He's like, I want to hang those dirty redskins on my wall. Doing like a Mexican hat dance and shit, like fucking 1930s blackface version of a racist cowboy. The final villain really did not even have to be in the movie at all, let alone be that. I think I would have been fine with the movie just ending when they buried the guy,
or they like dramatically ride off
and then
on the horses.
Everybody who didn't die, they have death all through the movie, which is fine. But everybody except Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, and the little boy all die in that final scene, just so that they can have Rosamund Pike adopt the kid and have it be like a tearful moment when Christian Bale decides to start a family with them or whatever the fuck. It's a little bit tacky. You got all this good stuff that's not tacky, and then you got like this much tack just right on the end, and it's a little bit
tack down there.
But anyway, Connor, what did you think of Hostels?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, my biggest problem with the movie probably was just at times it felt a bit repetitive, where a lot of the times it would be like scene during the day, then scene during the night at camp, then there's some horse walking scenes, then it's at night at camp. But it did allow a lot of drama to happen, a lot of character development. This wasn't really like an action movie. But I think there could have been like 20 minutes of the movie shaved off of shit that didn't really matter. But it wasn't too bad. It was definitely not to take away from the film because it was still pretty damn good. Cinematography was pretty impressive. Christian Bale, I thought, put in a good performance. A lot of the acting in this movie, a lot of our characters weren't heavy spoken. It was a lot of just acting, showed the characters' emotions and stuff. So for such a long movie, it actually did take some strong acting to pull it when it wasn't incredibly dialogue heavy. somebody might say a couple words, and a lot of the times people wouldn't even react with words or with much.
Stare and be like,
just like kind of do nods and shit. But you could tell what they were saying. It was never too cheesy, and even the scenes like when what's her name was the lady was going, her family was dead. She was kind of at first in denial about it, but once she kind of came to terms with her family being dead, there was like this scene where it was like 5 minutes of her kind of freaking out about it. And it could have been really cringy if it wasn't done right, but it was acted pretty well, so
yeah.
it was cool. And then at first I thought there was going to be the Native American villains at the start when the villain, the Native American guy with the red face paint, gunned down her family. And then you kind of get his close up and like his face looks to the side and you get like the ultra close up and you're like, this dude's gonna be like the super villain that like follows him across the world. It's kind of what I thought at first. Yeah, and then like halfway through the movie he's strung up from a tree and like he wasn't even killed by the main characters, he was just kind of dead. And it was like, oh. So it really was about character development. And there were these little conflicts, like the murder that went along the way, and I think a lot of the characters, a big theme was kind of struggling with their own inner demons. Like, you had this one character that never killed somebody before until this big gunfight happened, and he was kind of struggling with the fact that he finally killed somebody. Then you got like Christian Bale's friend, I don't remember his character's name, the bearded guy, and he's like, kind of get used to killing people, and then that eventually kind of came around because he ended up killing himself because he had to kill so many people. Then you got the axe murderer guy who comments like, okay, you guys are you're judging me, but you guys did the same shit as me, and they even worked together in the war with Christian Bale. So I thought there was a lot of developing that happened. Even the chief seemed, they were like untrusting of the chief and the other Indians, but eventually they started working together. They realized they were people just like them, just a different culture. And even the chief had a similar arc to Christian Bale where he's like, we both killed a bunch of people. The chief actually killed one of Christian Bale's friends. Him and Christian Bale kind of came to terms with it where it was like, well, that was war. We all had to do stuff we regret. We all had friends that meant a lot to us that got killed in these wars, but yeah, that's kind of how it has to happen. So I thought all that arc, they had a lot of good character arcs in this movie. So overall, I thought it was pretty good. Of course, the cinematography I thought was really nice. How they really used the American landscape and all the locations they went to.
Nice places.
You could tell when it was kind of the more desert lands of America, and then when it hit like Colorado, Montana, it started looking a little more like trees and mountains, and that was really cool. And so it looked super good, and overall, Entertainment Studios kind of came through better than Friend Request.
Yeah.
Entertainment Studios' third movie, up-and-coming studio to watch with their new Fast and the Furious rip-off movie. So, Aiden, would you recommend Hostel?
Yeah, I would. I think it's going to fly under a lot of people's radar because it's released by a small studio. It actually came out late December in most places and just got a wide release a few weeks ago. And I think a lot of people are going to miss it because of that, but it's super good, really. It's got pretty much everything. It's got good action, good acting, nice landscapes to look at, interesting historical story, historical fiction. So Connor, would you recommend Hostels?
I would. Hostels was a pretty good movie. I would definitely recommend it. It's a little slow paced, so if you're looking for an action western, this probably isn't the place to go. Stick with Django Unchained, but if you don't mind a slower paced western movie, I'd definitely recommend it. So that was all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Drunkview.
Don't forget about our contests. Once we hit 400 subscribers, comment.
500. Come
Once
on.
we hit 500 subscribers, comment. Be the first to comment, I want disaster artists on any one of our videos. We'll send you a free copy of the disaster artist and NTMA shirts. Just for you. Custom made NTMA shirt just for you. Signed. Thanks for watching.
You definitely want that shirt.
Love you.
Definitely wear something to wear every day. Probably tell your friends. You like this channel, 500 subs. It's fucking rad.